Welcome to Feral Mr. Nice Guy. I am your host, MNG. And today, I got a great topic for you because we have those hot topics, them hot button topics that we have. Now, I got my homegirl, Carla, with me. Go ahead, Carla, tell them what it is.
Hey, everybody.
So I got my girl, Carla, with me. So she's going to be on this topic with me. We talking about blended families. Now, Carla, I'm going to be honest with you. I came from a blended family. And I know the challenges and the struggles that it takes to try to maintain that family. You know, if you thought that it was bad trying to maintain a family that had just like the biological father and the biological mother there, blended families are the worst. Because that means one party has to get accustomed to a whole nother party. And I'm not trying to get accustomed to a whole nother party. Now, that's just speaking from my family dynamic of being in a blended family. When it comes to blended families as like being single, fuck that. I'm not doing it. I'm done trying to have a blended family. So my first question to you is have you ever dated and had to be in somewhat of a blended family?
To be honest,
yeah.
No, I actually haven't. I haven't.
So you haven't dated nobody that had kids?
I tried. Well, I mean, okay. So I had a lot of situationships. So the thing is, in the situationship I had, he did have a daughter, but his daughter and his ex-wife did not live here. So because they were out of state, then it was just like them not really being there because there wasn't like a scheduled routine of seeing his daughter. It was kind of like he would see her every few months. So it wasn't like an issue.
Okay.
Then I would say another dude that I actually dated in real life. He was a real life relationship. So for him, he had 2 kids and he had a ex-wife that I wasn't feeling like at all. But I didn't have to interact because these kids were older, so they weren't around much. So I didn't really have to deal with it too much. So I guess I don't have the best examples.
Okay. Well, and that's fine. So let me throw some out there. And I trust, I got all the examples of coming from or dating women that have kids. And I can tell you, like, I had to place rules on this to date because dating women that had kids was always a struggle. And the more kids they had, the more struggle I went through. So
really?
Yes. Look, let me tell you. When they have more kids and they don't necessarily have the support system in place to kind of take care of them kids, and then if they don't have a support system, then it means that they all they have, or they relying on the baby daddy or the baby daddies to come and pick their kids up. So they got multiple baby daddies. Then you walking into a situation where you dealing with like multiple personalities and multiple people. So you don't know who's crazy and who's cool. So now you gotta feel all them out while playing stepdad to a whole bunch of kids that ain't yours, who daddies may or may not be in their lives. So then if she got like 2 or 3 kids and each one have their own baby daddy and two of them fathers are not there, but the one kid father is there, that means that the 2 kids is gonna be staying home while the one gets to go away every weekend. So then who's gonna watch those kids? So then you run into those type of situations.
Always a kid.
It's still always gonna be a kid. So then you have to think about like, okay, what am I bringing to the situation where I'm gonna make her life a little bit more easier, because you're pretty much now everybody say that, oh well, I come with it's me plus my kids, and it's like, okay, cool, I get that, I don't have a problem with it. The problem I have is that I'm pretty much walking into a family dynamic already. So if you're single with no kids, you're pretty much becoming a father or a mother walking into that situation. Even if you're not even trying, you're still gonna be put into that same dynamic, and that's gonna be difficult. So that's and I've been there more than enough time, because I always thought like, okay, well, if I have a child and the other person got a child, then they'll understand. That's the worst thinking and dynamic to have. And let me tell you why. The reason why it's the worst dynamic to have, the worst understanding to have, is because the way they parent their kids is not going to be the same that you parent your kids. So that's another aspect that we look at. So and just thinking about that, I had put some numbers because I was kind of curious about blended families. So I kind of put some numbers from online, and I just kind of want to get your thoughts on these numbers. So we have that there is 16% of children that live in blended families. There's supposedly there's 1,300 new step families are formed every day. So I'm thinking this is probably happening through marriages. I don't think people just shacking up and saying, hey, we a blended family. Like that 1,300 is kind of crazy. But if you think worldwide, that kind of makes sense. There's 40% of families in the U.S. that are blended, with another 70% of blended families or blended marriages that end in divorce. So only 30% of blended families actually stay together. What does that tell you?
Don't date nobody with no damn kids. That's what it's telling me.
So if go ahead.
That's a lot. It's hard. I mean, because it's just so many different things that go along with that. It's different personalities. You know, when you have exes that have to kind of jump in and play, you know, then people feeling like, you ain't my daddy, you ain't my mama, and da, 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 da. And then some people feel like they have to choose between, you know, what parent they want to side up with. It's just, it be the most. It's a lot. It's a lot.
And you're absolutely right. So there's a few dynamics that come from this. I'm kind of give my thoughts on these blended marriages that end in divorce. I think what it comes down to. So I see a few different factors here, and there's a video that had came out a long time, maybe about earlier this year, where I think there was a social, I think there were like influencers or something like that on social media. And there were a couple, and the man didn't want to adopt the young lady's children. He didn't want to give him his last name. And the reason behind that was that if he was to do that and she was to divorce him, he would basically have to pay out more money for these kids that he just readily adopted. And she was really, really furious about that, and decided that, you know, they should go ahead and break up and start throwing his stuff out onto the street and everything. Well, not necessarily onto the street, but like in the hallway and stuff like that. But might as well say he was being thrown onto the street. Now, when I first seen that, I'm looking like, well, you know, why? Before I understood the whole conversation, I'm like, well, why don't he want to go ahead and adopt the kids? But then I realized the state that he was in was going to make him pay for them kids if they end up getting divorced. And he felt like it was a money move, a power move, in order to get money from him. And I honestly feel like that's a little deceiving, because if we've been married for 5-10 years and you want your kids to have my last name, okay, that's fine. But I don't think I have to adopt them just for you to do a name change. They can just have my last name. Should a man do a full-on adoption just because he been in these kids' lives for 5+, 10+ years, instead of doing a full-on adoption? What do you think about that?
If I were a man, I would not adopt nobody's children in real life, because I'm playing daddy anyway. The name ain't gonna make a difference. When somebody's just been there for you, period, and they've shown that they're your dad, people don't focus on the fact that they're not blood related. So to me, the adoption part is not required. You know what I mean? And then I think some people are very old school, and if my last name is this, people want their kids' last names to match as well, and it's important for people to look a certain way. So image is another reason why I think some women might do that.
I can understand that. I feel like, because in any, well, and let me catch my words.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about it, what difference does it make who last name that the kid has, as long as they have the father figure that's there? If they want to change their last name, like when they get to like adulthood, and they want to show representation for the parent or the father that had been there, or the mother. Well, no, it wouldn't be the mother, but for the father that has been there, going through the paces with them, going through the troubles with them, going through the struggles with them, and they want to go ahead and change their name, I would say wait till you become an adult to go ahead and make that a firm decision. That way it's your own decision. It's not being influenced by anybody. Because I know when I was younger, I was asked that question like, hey, do you want to change your last name to my last name? And I was like, no, I don't. I was like 12 years old. I'm like, nah, I'm good. Like, I'm cool with the last name that I have. I don't want to have your last name. And it was no disrespect. Like, I have my mom's last name, so it really wasn't no disrespect. So I wasn't about to go out there and change my name for what? Like, I had just met this man. Like, only known you for like a year. You want me to change my last name? No, I didn't feel like that was necessary for me to go out there and do. To be part of a family, because honestly, like, my mom had ended up getting married, and she ended up changing her last name, and then my dad ended up getting married. Now I don't have my dad's last name, so I have my mom's last name. So when my mom changed her last name, I feel like I was the last of the Mohicans. So I was like, well, I'm going to keep my last name the way that it is. I'm not going to change my last name. Like, I had respect for my grandmother, so I'm like, you know what? As crazy as it sounds, I wanted to keep the same name that she had. So it's like, I ain't about to change my last name. It was a whole mess. And I think it probably seemed disrespectful. But at the same time, it's like, it can't be disrespectful because you respectfully asked me that I want your name, and I respectfully told you no. And even today, I still don't want to change my last name. I'm going to keep my last name the way that it is. In any way, shape, or form. Like, that's just how I feel. But I can understand where you're coming from. But even when you think about the divorce rate, and it's not pertaining to blended family, because this doesn't give any kind of demographic that goes along with it, but we just saying that 70% of blended families end in divorce. Okay. It makes me think, like, what is the main reason why in a divorce? Is it money? Is it that they didn't realize parenting styles? Did somebody abuse the other kid's child? Or was it like some molestation going on? Like, I kind of
went way free. Come on now. I'm gonna need to bring it back in.
You need to bring it, but let's be honest, because there are men and women out there, especially because I know you heard about the teachers that have been fooling around with the little high schoolers and the little 8th graders and everything. So, and I've had the privilege to look at criminal cases that was of the criminal sexual conduct nature. And looking at them cases, is either an uncle, is either a step parent, or something like that, where they are, touching on these little boys, touching on these little girls, and that's an issue. So that could be also a contribution for why the divorce rate of blended families is so high. This honestly makes me believe that I shouldn't get married at all to anybody that had kids. Like, I think I'm gonna write off women that have kids on my list after this podcast.
No, you can't.
Why not?
Here's the thing. You can't. No. There are some really good. I mean, I don't have kids, but I have friends, and they are some amazing moms out here. And
Uh-huh.
moms work so hard, and they double work. They definitely need to have that good, strong male support system and figure in their kids' life. I do think that a lot of times people just aren't really good judges of characters these days. I think people are a little too trusting this day and age, to have people around their kids. So your flags have to be up. And then I think people are also not paying attention to the signs. I think some things people overlook, but I think if he's spending this much alone time, like, I don't think that sometimes it's like, well, why is he over there? So he just gone with her. And then I also think people don't talk to kids either to find out how they feel about their spouses. And a lot of parents are not having the sit down conversation to find out how these kids feel about that person. Or if they don't like them, let's break it down. Well, why don't you like them? You know what I'm saying? To understand that, because sometimes some kids are too scared to talk because they don't know what the response will be.
I agree with that. From personal experience, I was in a situation where I was introduced to the person, and then we're up and moving. Wait, where we moving to? When were we moving? And then I found out that my mom was pregnant with another kid, and my little brother, and I was kind of like, wait a minute, wait, when did all this happen?
Right, exactly.
Like, we went to the movies one time, and now all of a sudden we gotta move. Like, nah, I'm like, nah, ma, I'm gonna stay here with grandma. And grandma was like, nah, you going with your mama. I was like, well, damn. Nobody wants little M&G. Nobody wants me.
Oh, be quiet. Whatever. I
was so hurt. Nobody wanted me. I was like, my mom is taking me away from my grandmother. Like, oh my God. But real life, like, that's how it happened. Like, I was in my room putting stuff up, and she was like, pack your stuff, we moving. What?
Damn.
Where are we going? Take me to this nice apartment, and I'm looking around. I'm like, oh, this is ours. And then next thing I know, we all kumbaya family in there. I'm like, wait a minute, this is not how this is supposed to work. I was like, man. So yeah.
But was it how many other kids was it though? Like, that was
so essentially it was just me. And then my little brother came along, but he also had a son too. His son would just come over on the weekends. We didn't get along that well. Matter of fact, we didn't get along at all. And there was an age difference. Wow. There was an age difference. So that's kind of how I can kind of relate to the blended families, because it's like, because it's that age difference. Like, what's the age difference? So my dad has a blended family as well. Now, granted, we all grown, but I can be honest with you on this podcast, because we just say fuck everything here, and I don't really care for them that much. Like, I knew them, so I met them years ago when we were kids. We all took a trip to New York, and it's two of them, brother and sister. My dad wanted to do this thing, and let me tell you, it was not 100. The little girl, and I was the oldest. The little girl was getting on my damn nerves. The little boy was getting on my damn nerves. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with both of you two? Why y'all fucking with me? I'm sitting in the middle just trying to mind my own business and take this 12-hour ride to New York, because we drove. And these little motherfuckers kept fucking with me. I'm like, bro. And then, who do you think get in trouble when they turn around and look? Me. I'm like, bro. Y'all motherfuckers setting me up. Is what the deal is. I could have kicked their asses down. I could have kicked their ass out the goddamn car. I promise you. It was getting on my damn nerves. If they was to ever hear this podcast, I don't like y'all. I'ma just be 100. And if you see me in person, I don't like y'all.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I don't even give a fuck.
You're so mean.
I am not being, fuck that. I'm not being mean. I am not being mean. Them motherfuckers torment. Even now, them motherfuckers. Let me tell you. Okay. I'm gonna tell y'all some secrets.
Your parents, are they still married?
No, they was never married. They went their separate ways a long time ago. I'm gonna tell y'all some secrets, okay? We gonna do some secrets today.
Okay.
So,
okay.
When my dad first married this young lady, right? And if my dad ever hears this, I'm not gonna deny it because I don't give a damn, okay? Fuck them kids. Fuck them grown ass people. So when they got married, and this was some years ago. So when they got married, you know, I had a fiance at the time. We was dating and everything. You know, things was good. Things was good. So we went over there. So they didn't know too much about what was going on in my life. So I show up to a holiday party with my fiance. And then about a few days later, my dad called me and was like, you know, how did you like it and everything? I'm like, oh, it was cool, you know, what's up, whatever, like that. So then he gonna tell me, like, yeah, you know, my wife didn't know that you had a fiance. And I was like, but you knew. He's like, yeah, she thought you was gonna date her daughter. What kind of white trash we trying to do around here? So you married a mother, and then you want to turn around and think I'm about to date the daughter, and she got 3 little girls. Oh hell no! 3 little girls and no job. Oh nah. I'm good on that one. I'm good with the white trash backyard pulley bullshit that y'all trying to pull over. Nah, fuck that. I can't believe that he even told me that shit. I was like, hold on, wait a minute. So she thought that I was gonna date her daughter. Nah, I'm good on that one. I was like, you know what, y'all have lost it completely.
Oh wow.
I'ma stay right where the fuck I'm at. Away from the white trash trailer park incest bullshit that y'all trying to do.
Shut up.
You have to admit that is crazy to think that
is crazy.
I don't know whether I can't verify whether it's a truth or a lie. But one thing I know is that shit was told to me, and I refuse. Let me say it for you one more time. I refuse to be part of that malarkey, cause that shit would have been crazy. And it's bad enough that they don't like me. See, they don't like me just like I don't like them. And they may say they don't like me. They may say that, well, Jay, it's not that we listen. They may say, like, Image, it's not that we don't like you. And I'm gonna say, it is that you don't like me. You wanna know why you don't like me? Because again, with blended families, because you're coming into the picture with 2 different sets of kids from 2 other DNA piles, right? My dad loves to boast about me. As much as I would not like him to do that, he does. So if you have a kid that is succeeding and is succeeding well, you're going to want to talk about it, right? The problem is that the family that you married into, if the 1 or 2 kids over there ain't doing shit or fucking up in life, it don't look too good when you sitting there boasting about the 1 kid that ain't part of the picture and the other 2 ain't doing shit. So the other party gets mad, like, damn, I keep talking about their kid like that because he doing this and he doing that or whatever. They don't want to hear that shit. So then when I do show up, you know, it be this look on my face like, oh, this is who he's talking about. Yeah, this is who he was talking about. And you know, in their head, oh, he don't look like he about that. He don't look like he about shit. Like, yeah, I mean, you may figure that, but you know, whatever. I just go about my business. Like, I don't really have time for that shit. Like, but that's another dynamic of blended families is the competition. So it's always who can do better than the next person, who's making more money than the next person, who has more achievements than the next person, you know, or fighting for attention. Now, me personally, I'm too old or too grown to try to fight for like my parents' attention. with some step kids. So if
Oh wow.
like if you want my dad's attention, I'll be honest with you, can pretty much have it. Like I got other shit to do than to be trying to fight over somebody's attention. I just don't have it.
Oh wow.
And even with the competition, then you run into that conflict. So have me and them had now? So let's think about it. Have I had conflict with these kids? No, I have not had conflict with them. But my son has been through conflict from a blended family. Now I know people talking about like, well, you know, if you had a blended family, I mean, y'all was like married or something like that. Well, not necessarily. Like you can date, and if y'all kids are around each other, you know, that's kind of like I would say that's kind of like a blended family or whatnot. So, Carla, let me tell you this. So my son, I was dating this young lady, and my son would go over there and he would sleep in the spare room. So he gonna say, yeah, I'm about to go in my room and play this game. So the little girl gonna say, well, it's not your room, it's the guest room. Like,
oh really?
Yeah, like why you stunning on them?
Smart ass.
Like why you stunning on them like that? Like
right.
Like why?
Oh.
But those are some of the things that you deal with when you have these blended families, especially like the secrets that go along with it. So like dating in blended families comes with secrets because the mother may be holding secrets that she's holding back from her daughter or son that they haven't really told you about until it comes out in the open. And like I said, you know, having to deal with so I will probably be more inclined to deal with a woman where the baby daddy is not in the picture versus when he is in the picture. And I know that sounds kind of bad. Like, why you want the kid to be out there with no daddy?
I mean, it's some daddies that be there and really ain't. Like, they alive, but they ain't present. So, I mean, sometimes it's just better to just not have them at all if you're going to be a half-ass daddy. I
prefer the ones that's not present, to be quite honest. And let me tell you why I prefer the ones that's not present. Because them kids ain't got nobody to lean on but you.
Yeah.
They not going to be they not going to be disrespectful because...
Not
usually. Because they ain't got nobody else to talk to. They see you as a stranger. Right. They know they can't talk to their mama about certain things. And that's the opportunity for you to befriend them. If you plan on being around, don't do it if you don't plan on being around. Like, don't befriend a little kid if you know you about to leave because you just trying to do a smash and grab. Don't do that. I'm just saying, like, you wasting everybody's time at that point in time. But if you really going to focus in on like being there for the mother and, you know, being there for, you know, the little sprout or whatever, then, you know, go ahead and befriend them so, you know, they can confide in you and y'all can have those one-on-one conversations. Y'all can build your own bond. But don't buy the kids' love. So yeah. Now I've been there when somebody tried to you know, buy my sons love, affection, and attention. And when I was younger, try to buy my love, affection, and attention. It's like, no, don't buy it. Don't buy it. Because what happens is it gives a false sense of security. And when you have that false sense of security, you know, you kind of put that kid in a mindset of like, oh, you know, they're going to buy me stuff. And then you start buying them stuff because you only did it so you can get on their good side. So that's one tip I have. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. So let me ask you this, Carla. If you was dating a guy and he had full custody of his kids, and he had 2 kids with 2 different baby mamas, what would be your initial reaction? She already said no. What would be your initial reaction to that situation? Like somebody just walked up to you, like, you know, start talking and y'all vibing and say y'all, you know, dated for 3 months and then he was like, yeah, I got 2 daughters at home.
I am turned off. So here's the thing, and I feel like daughters are a problem. I say this with respect, but little girls really need their dad. So when it comes to their mom, especially we talking two different moms, those hoes are very disgruntled. And a lot of them, they are. And the thing is when they know he done moved on, he got him a cute little somebody, and he happy. Let me find a way to make sure that I'm going to throw these little girls off to him. Find a reason to keep dropping these kids off. You always got one that needs something. So you got a baby mama that she always needs something. And when I say always needs something, it could be something so small, like just, hey, she really wants to talk to you because she said that she had missed you, and she blowing up the phone. He can put you on speaker and you just over there trying to find something because this nigga's over here with me. You just want to give me problems. And then also little girls cost money. They need their hair done, nails done, toes done, shopping. I need that stuff too. So who daddy picking? 9 out of 10 times, daddy gonna pick his babies. You know what I'm saying? Unless you one of them daddies like, baby, it's gonna be pussy, baby. It's gonna be pussy. That's the kind of daddy I want. I want him to pick some pussy because the kids got to have some type of line of order. So in my mind, the little girls is too much for me. It's a hell no. I will not date a dude. I don't want to date a dude with little girls. Second, if it's boys, I'm better because the thing is, it's like they don't need as much. They need them, but not as much. Little girls need a little bit more than little boys, in my opinion.
Oh no,
Am I wrong?
No. You absolutely right. Girls, especially daddy's girls, need a lot. They need time. They need attention. They need money. They need their hair did. They need a mani pedi going on. And if you ain't got it in house, oh my goodness, it's gonna cost money. The dresses, the prom. There's a whole host of it. Well, boys, they kind of, boys are kind of like cats. I know. Don't compare your kids to animals. Get that. I got it.
Okay.
But
never heard this one.
You ain't never heard of this? I just came up with it. So boys are like cats. With a cat, it pretty much self-maintains itself. You buy it a little bit of food. When it act up, you spritz it with some water. It gets in line. And then you go ahead and move about yourself. Now, it may try to test you every now and then. But, you spritz it with some water, or you knock it out, or you knock it right. It's cool. You give it a few toys. It go play with its toy. It don't even bother you that much. It may come and it may need a little bit of attention. But other than that, you don't have to really be bothered with a cat that much. A cat comes bother you when it want to be bothered. But if you go looking for the cat, because you want to play with it and stuff like that, it'll be bothered with you. But for the most part, they pretty much lazy. They don't want to be bothered with. That's how boys are. Now, dogs is a different story. Dogs need attention. Dogs need to be walked. You can't give a dog a toy and think that it don't want you to play with it. It wants you to show it attention. It wants you to constantly be there. Like, they can't really go, unless you train it really well, they can't really go and use a bathroom by themselves. They got to be exercised, and you ain't got to do all that with a cat. See, with a little girl, and then somebody could say, man, that's a harsh opinion. Fuck you. So listen, the thing here is that when it comes to little girls, yes, they are like dogs. They need to be monitored. They want to play, and you get them toys, and they want you to play with the toys with them. You get them a little house, they play house, but then they say they want you to come for tea time. Then you got to go and have tea time. They want to go places. They want to go here. They want to go get their hair did. You go get your dogs groomed, and you don't go get your cat groomed. What? Who takes their cat to go get groomed? Nobody. But you damn sure go take that goddamn poodle to go get groomed. You gonna put that poodle in your damn purse, and you gonna carry that little motherfucker around and take that motherfucker to get groomed. Yep. Girls are like dogs. Boys are like cats. You got low maintenance, you got high maintenance. Regardless of the case, your dog is gonna cost you way more money. then your cat will. How many times have you heard somebody say, yeah, I had to take my cat to the vet versus, yeah, I had to take my dog to the vet? You're taking your dog to the vet probably more than you taking the damn cat to the vet. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and look those stats up. I think.
Oh my God. God. Really?
They take dogs to the vet more than they take cats. Cats don't.
Yeah, that's bad.
Look. Dogs be getting into shit they ain't supposed to get their asses into. Cats get themselves into shit too, but they learn their lesson the first time around. I'm telling you. Y'all think the comparison is bad. The comparison is not that bad when you think about it. Man, I looked at my son. Kids are like pets any damn ways for the first few years. The only difference is they know how to talk and walk on two legs. Them little motherfuckers, you gotta train them for every damn thing. Don't touch this. Don't touch that. Don't go over there. No, don't do. Sit down. Why are you running? Oh, he's learning how to walk. That means he gonna get into shit. Listen, they like pets. Okay, the only difference is that you don't have to pay for. Well, you do have to pay for them because you got to pay for the hospital to deliver them. So yeah, you do got to pay for them. They just come at a more heftier price than an actual dog or a cat, especially if you want a thoroughbred. But it's amazing to me that people will go and adopt a pet, like a dog, cat, and all this stuff like that, turtle and everything, but they won't go adopt an actual human. You know how many kids out here that need to be adopted? The only problem is you can't put them on. Well, you know what? Some people do put their kids on a leash. I've always been curious about that. I never put my son on a leash. I mean, I do think of him as like, you know, a pet and stuff, but I ain't never put him on a leash before. I think that's a little too much. You know, you just see them kids been up in Target and their parents just be standing right there and they be trying to run and they on that little short leash and they can't get nowhere far and they trying to pull on the leash to get away. Yeah, no, I ain't never put my kid on a leash. I don't think I can date somebody that put their kid on a leash, because once you get them off that leash, they like pit bulls at that point, man. They be like,
oh my God. Oh my God.
Carla, why you say oh my God? You act like I'm telling a lie. You've seen them people.
No, I have. You know, I have. I ain't gonna lie to you, I have. Mm-hmm.
They be out there with them kids on a damn leash. They must be the ones that can't handle a blended family. Cause you got your kid on a leash, you can't be part of no blended family. Cause the other person gonna be looking at you like, why you got your kid on a leash? Cause they very interactive and rambunctious and want to run around. Then beat their ass. What the fuck? Slap that motherfucker and say,
well, now you get arrested for hitting these kids these days. So you got to fall back a bit. Don't get about that now.
Listen, that is true. That is true. You know, you hit your kid the wrong way, then they want to put you on Instagram and TikTok, and then have the authority come looking for you, talking about something. Yeah, we seen you hit your kid, and what's your point? Well, we gonna have to take you to court about that because you know that's abuse. You know, in all the years that I have lived, I can tell you that rearing your child never harmed them in the least bit. Now, depending on the level of intensity that you do it at, now that can cause an issue, because if you out there hitting them with brooms, bats, hangers, switch cords, and extension cords and shit, you know, hey, you got grounds. But if I hit you in your ass with my hand and the people come knocking on my door, I'm gonna be like, well, if you want to be a parent, feel free. But if you ain't got no kids, I don't think we need to be having this conversation. But when you have kids, you know, come and tell me about it. Because personally, I think that, I mean, I've got whoopings when I was younger, and I turned out just fine.
Right, me too.
I don't think that, well, I believe that the kids that don't get their ass beat are just, I ain't gonna say that they soft. I just don't think that they're tough enough to kind of handle what the world is gonna throw at them, because they haven't learned what consequences are. So for every action has a consequence. So if you think about it, and my son understands this, you act up in school, face a punishment. Act up again, we just gonna escalate. May have him paint my basement. Shit, playing fucking around with me. But those are things that you miss when you have a village, because now you got people out here like, you can't tell my kids what to do. And when you get into a blended relationship and it's really about, you can't tell my kids what to do because you ain't they parent, why are we in this relationship? Why are we building together if I can't tell your kids what to do? I ain't saying I gotta beat the shit out of them, but at the same time, I can't sit down and have a conversation and tell them where they went wrong at. I can't be part of the punishment process. We supposed to be a team. We supposed to work together. So in a blended family, it's even harder because you're trying to pull your both your expertise together in order to try to come up with a resolution in order to put all your kids under the same rules.
I said, well, it's kind of hard, especially if they have another parent that has to have, feel like they have a say on certain disciplinary actions too.
That is true. But how do you differentiate what you're supposed to discipline on versus what you're not supposed to discipline on? Because situations anew is going to keep coming up and keep creating themselves as time goes on. Like, okay, I trust, say we get to the point where, they teenagers or whatever, and it's like, okay, well, you can go ahead and drive my car. You crash my car. I'm not supposed to be mad. I'm not supposed to want to whoop their ass. So right, I'm just supposed to be like, well, I'm gonna let you handle it. No, fuck that. Ain't no you handle it. He crashed. Well, you should have trusted him to drive your car. What? Fuck out my house.
Oh my God.
like I'm a snap. Like, what the fuck you mean? Get the fuck out my house, bro. Like that, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm getting to a point where, listen, my kid he not even a kid. My child, or my person, my son, he's on his way to college, or he's on his way out the door, so to speak. Not that I'm kicking him out at 18 or anything, but within the next 2 to 3 to 4 years, he's probably gonna go and move to live on his own or whatever. Depending on how the market looks like or whatever like that. So for me to have to deal with somebody that has a young kid, that is going to put restrictions on my life. And I've dealt with restrictions for 15 years. I don't want to deal with any more restrictions. I'm like in this let's go travel phase. I'm in this I can leave and do whatever I want to phase. I'm in this the money that I'm making, I want to keep to myself phase. That's where I'm at. I am not in a position to go and live in restrictions. Carla, if you wanted to get up and travel, you can just go. Nothing is stopping you. Nothing is holding you back. If you wanted to stay out all night, you could. If you didn't want to buy groceries for 2 weeks because you wanted to pay for something else, so you just ate on the bare minimum for 2 weeks, and that's just what you wanted to do. You can do it. My
life. Let's go. That's my life now. Let's go.
Exactly. You can do it. So the phase of my life where I'm at, because I have my son young, so the phase of my life is where I'm at. And I kind of understand why, when people start to get 40 and they had kids and they like, I'm not having no more kids. That's where I'm at. I'm not having no kids. I'm not having no more kids. Because I'm at that phase where it's like, okay, all the fun that I missed out on when I was in my 20s, like the traveling and, buying nice cars and all that stuff like that, because you had the money to do it because you didn't have nobody to take care of. That's where I'm at. So my 40 is like my new 20s. So I'm about to go into my 40s. Like I'm about to make bank. Because, on average, the average male starts to make their intended salary or intended money or whatever, or they start to really get into their career in their 40s. So about like 45, they start making the money that they want to make or whatever. Some people hit it earlier, but some people may start making the money they want to make, and they mid to like 40s. So thinking about that, just think about that. That's where I'm headed right now with a child that's going off to college or trade school, whatever the hell he want to do. And I don't have to worry or have the restrictions of, I gotta buy food for somebody, or I gotta take somebody to school every morning. Or I gotta pick somebody up from school after work. You know, I ain't gonna have those worries. Like, I'm gonna be free and clear. So I'm not gonna deal or put myself in a position to have to deal with somebody else's child and have to live within restrictions. I think that's fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's fair. I mean, if I was single and I didn't have a kid, I wouldn't want to deal with somebody that had young kids, because I'm like, okay, you impeding on my freedoms. You can't go where I go because you stuck. You can't go where I go because I don't want to be stuck. I'm sorry. Am I being mean?
Yeah.
Am I being mean? Am I being selfish?
No, you keeping it real. It's called being a realist. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Because I'm just not in that. I'm sorry. I'm just not in that space. No, and I'll be honest with my peoples, with the fans. You know, at the time of this recording, I gotta phrase it like that. Ain't no telling when it's gonna come out. At the time of this recording, I had just left a relationship where I felt like my freedoms was going to be impinged on for a whole nother 13 years. And I was feeling it. We had only dated for 2 months, but I was feeling it. I felt the restriction. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. I can't do this shit. Like, my freedoms is being impeded on. Like, I don't want my freedoms to be impeded on. Like, I want to be able to make moves and go wherever I want to. And if I decided I want to travel this weekend, whether I drive or fly, I got the money to do so, and can't nobody tell me nothing. I ain't got to worry about buying groceries for a little kid. I ain't got to worry about, oh man, I can't leave because I got to pick him up from school, and I got to make sure that somebody's looking after him, and I got to make sure somebody check in on him. I ain't got to do all that. The boy is damn near 18, damn near an adult. And in some countries, he is an adult. He can drink and smoke and all that shit. So
you're so stupid.
I am you don't understand the revelation that I had when I realized that my restrictions was being impeded on, and I had to get the fuck away. And I hate to say it like that because I didn't want to break the person's heart. But it became real apparent when they were saying it. Like, well, your son on the way out and, my son on the way in. And I'm like, damn, you absolutely right. That little motherfucker in pre-K. I'm like, oh shit, what the fuck am I thinking? Oh, I gotta get the fuck out of here.
Oh, wow.
Hold on. I think I made a mistake. Let me get the fuck out of here. I promise you. You know what? Date other single people, Carla. Don't date parents. Matter of fact, I don't know if you've seen that list that man came out with that said what kind of women they're not going to date.
Oh, yeah, I did.
So the number one thing up there that says single mothers, I get what they talking about.
You so stupid.
I get
you
it.
You are stupid.
And look, unless your kid is the same age as mine, and we both are restriction free, I can't. I don't want to do that. I had to whisper it. Like, I'm gonna tell you, Carla. I'm gonna whisper it. I don't want to do that no more. I ain't fuck them kids. I ain't doing that shit.
Yeah. You didn't put your time. What's done? What's done with your sentence now? For you to do that, it's like signing up all over again. You know what I'm saying?
I don't want to do that. I don't want to sign my death warrant. Somebody was like, "You plan on getting married?" I said, "Hell no." I said, "I ain't ready to sign that jail sentence yet." They was like, "Why is it a jail sentence?" I was like, "Cause it is. I'm committed my life to a cellmate for however long that we're gonna be together. I don't know how long that's gonna be. Maybe I decide to leave. Maybe they decide to leave. I really don't believe in divorce, so I don't know who the fuck gonna decide to leave. But to me, it's a jail sentence. So I don't want to do that shit. I'm good. But I know we're about to let's go ahead and start to wrap this up. So Carla, give me your last opinion just on these ideals that we have brought forth to the table? You can say fuck those kids and just leave it at that. I'll be completely 100 with that.
Well, really, well, I would say because majority of the world, if you are dating anywhere that 40 and up range, people's kids should be at that self-sufficient age between 13 and 18, I would say. But if they're not in that range, for me, will not be dating you if you don't have kids that's grown. I'm past that point right now. So I will say there are a lot of great men out here who have children. I mean, and he gonna have to be a fucking phenomenal man to catch me with a young child. But just coming in the door, I feel like it's a lot to deal with. And unless you just don't have kids and you kind of want to jump in and be able to like be that parent, I would suggest, to just tread lightly, because you could get caught up in the rapture, and I ain't trying to get caught. So I'm gonna stay doing what I'm doing and just want to focus on dating somebody with some grown kids, because I could catch a case real fast. I ain't got that time to play with people's baby mamas, because she just a broad off the street to me. Even if she is your baby mama or ex-wife or whatever, like I'm not gonna do it. I'm just not set up. My patience ain't there. So that's where I'm at with it. What about you?
Oh, thank you for throwing it back to me. I caught that. I caught it. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm in a position where, me and my son we're finishing off high school, finishing off being a senior. I'm gonna talk more about his senior year, in coming podcast. But I think I'm in that same spot. I'm in that spot where I don't want to have to deal with another person's problems, so to speak. Okay, so if they do have...
Let's say baggage. You don't want to sound like the bad guy.
Okay. Baggage, garbage bags, suitcases,
yeah.
Shit, whatever.
Stop it.
I don't want to deal with them garbage bags. Put this shit on the curb.
You so stupid.
So you're right.
Oh my God.
I don't want to have to deal with anybody else's baggage right now, because I'm going into my selfish stage where, as an adult, I'm making the money that I wish I could have made when my son was younger to kind of fit our lifestyle. I'm doing things now where I was more afraid to do them when he was younger, that I could do now, like so far as like traveling and everything. So we're starting to do some traveling together, because at the time I didn't have the money for us to go and do traveling together. Now I have the money for us to go and travel. So right now I'm definitely in my more selfish stage, because now I want to kind of keep my money to myself. I can't imagine having a kid at 40, and by the time they turn 20, I'm 60. They still with me. They still bothering me. They're still in my space. I won't have no privacy. So for any woman that I do come across, I will hope that their kids are grown, or they don't have no kids, and we can just like go off together. I'm like, well, I want kids. Would you want to adopt or something? Like, I don't want to have kids. Like, can we just have dogs? Let's have dogs. Dogs can be our kids.
Right.
Like, I am completely... Right. We could be a dog family. We can go to the dog park. We can put them in a kennel and then go travel somewhere. Let's do that. But let's not have or procreate to have little ones that are attached to us. Like, literally attached. That costs way more money to maintain, take care of, because, the only thing, we really don't have to clothe dogs. You don't have to put clothes on them. People do it. It's kind of weird, but people do it. People treat dogs just like they damn kids. They dress them up and all that stuff like that. But they ain't got to go, these dogs ain't got to go to school for 18 years. Well, not 18, 13 years of their life. They ain't got to go to school and then decide, I want to go to college. Okay, now you want to go to school for another 4 years. Oh yeah, I want to go and get my master's degree. Great. Oh, I want to get my doctorate. God damn it. Who is that expense being charged to? Us.
Right.
So unless we pulling in $500,000 a year, I ain't looking to have no more kids. If I'm pulling in $500,000 a year, I probably wouldn't care if I had another kid, because at that point in time, you know, I got a limousine that take them to school. I got probably like a nanny.
Limousine.
And we having
they Ubering now. They doing Uber. I don't know about the limousine.
They gonna be in the limousine. Look, take this limousine and go to school, or I'll just take them to school. But we would have the money and the funds to cover everything that we need and still have money left over. That's the only way I can see myself doing it. Other than that, I ain't trying to have no more kids. Man, fuck them kids. Shit. But I'm M&G, and I had my lovely guest, Carla, here with me. Make sure you go ahead and hearts. Make sure you go ahead and follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Farewell MNG. Make sure you go ahead and like us and love us and share us on Spotify. Make sure you do all that great stuff. Share this shit. Make sure people get to hear about this shit. We talk about good shit on this show.
Yes.
We talk about good shit.
Yes.
So I'll see y'all on the next recording. Peace.